got some big bullocks in the trailer. They're heavy, aren't they? Feels like I've got 2 heavy cows in. They are big. I can hardly believe how big they are because they're only just over a year old. Plus about that there. The main problem I couldn't get the 3 I wanted to come out. They were a bit sort of timid, and I got them. Eventually, they all came out, and then rather luckily, the 3 I didn't want sort of came back to the gate more or less together. So it wasn't difficult to do. I'll get first gear before I get to this passing place sign. That was just a bit borderline there. Right, that's the slow part done. We're actually getting to 3rd gear. Just. Yeah, it's about 10 o'clock now, just after 10. We're doing alright, this is fine, as long as I don't have any hold-ups. I always imagine I'm going to get away half an hour sooner, but it just doesn't happen. You can't rush them if you start waving sticks about or shouting at them or anything else. Next thing, the jump-in gates and all sorts, they have to be kept quiet. I think they're doing something clever by running down the yard, and then, oh, we got in the shed that's got bedding in it. When that's the loading shed. And then, what did go really well, and it nearly always does, with this trailer, it has the flaps on the front that you can drop right down. And they seem to have a problem with like depth perception, because they sort of went straight in the trailer, so they thought, oh, we can keep going through there and through the opening at the front, even though it's got bars on it. And then when they get there, their heads won't even fit through. But by that time, you've slammed the gate shut behind them, and they're in. That's the worst bit done, really. Assuming the journey down there goes alright. Which it usually does. It's a quiet time of year. It's not icy or snowing, it's not foggy or raining for a change. That's nice. So they've got a funny, see a wagon there. Oh, you cunt. Why do people do that? You just stopped in the road on the brow of a hill where you couldn't see what was coming. Silly woman. And yeah, lo and behold, the car was coming. He saw the issue and he flashed his lights. I'd rather he just kept coming, to be honest, because I'd already more or less stopped. And you wouldn't mind, but there's a great wide grass road. She's not going to get bogged. You wouldn't know that, to be fair, but why stop there? Very gloomy today. We're just getting into a more serious easterly wind, which is bringing in a lot of clouds, so I don't think it's going to be exceptionally cold. It'll be around 3 and 4 degrees most days, actually. But this morning it was like drizzly rain, I suppose, but it felt like sleet. Maybe it was sleet, especially up here. Some of them are eating salt. But Hutley Hall is a funny place. There's a relatively new weather station down at the lower end of it, and it's been a bit of an eye-opener ever since it was installed that it could be like -6 down here soon after it gets dark. We're told we're at like 5 degrees, +5 just up the road. It's an almost perfect frost, although there is an exit, which is a narrow, steep-sided exit, and it's quite heavily wooded, so the cold air can't flow out. It just ponds in this dip. There is a weather station on the left somewhere, but I don't know if it properly uploads. It's probably someone's own one, but what has been uploaded. It's been known to upload. Maybe it isn't working anymore because they're a bit short-lived, cheaper ones. Well, I have one that you just keep replacing parts on it. Just on the right in there, I can see it there, stood there. It's not like down at the river level. It's in somebody's garden. It's probably even colder right down in here somewhere. But this is at home. We have a similar thing. There's a house down in the bottom of the valley, literally 200 yards from the farm, and I've seen it up to 8 degrees colder, but that was a bit freaky. It had been calm and frosty, and it had got right down to like -6 or something, and then the wind started picking up, and it was 8 degrees or something. Well, not like, but 6 and 7 anyway at the farm, having not really been much below freezing. But down in that sheltered dip, that cold air just persisted right through till well, it was still frosty next morning. Ye olde Relton Bank. Probably said this before, but back in the 60s when Mother was driving, we had a car which was considered not a fast car, but a more capable car. It was a Wolseley, which resembled Austin Cambridge, to be fair. They were quite hard to tell apart. Anyway, she would come down here and try and scare us a bit by showing how fast it was going. We went more than 50 miles an hour or something. It seemed to be bouncing about all over. Honestly, it was quite scary. I told us as kids we weren't used to it going more than 30 miles an hour. I'm sort of joking, but cars like Morris Minors and things, I don't know what we had before that, I had no idea. But we only had cheaper cars, small cars. And you know, if they were doing 50, it was about flat out. You wouldn't normally go much more than 50 miles an hour. My granddad had a Morris Minor shooting brake, as they called them, like a little like a van with windows, an estate car you could call it. It had doors at the back. Anyway, he would take us a day out to Filey. I don't know, we maybe weren't all that early setting off, but he was a surprisingly slow driver. I mean, he must have been like well into his 60s by then, like me. But obviously that car was not really capable. When it was fully loaded with 4 people in it, it struggled to maintain 40 miles an hour or thereabouts. So it took so long to get to Filey that we more or less had an ice cream or something and came back again. And I don't remember it really. I think on the way home I must have fallen asleep because we were suddenly at home again. I vaguely remember going. I think the only reason I remember going was because he had some conkers that he picked up. So it must have been autumn, wasn't it? He'd picked up conkers for us, and he let me throw one out of the window, and we watched it go bouncing down the road. That was the highlight of the trip, actually. I said, this is one of the places, if you come earlier, it's mad busy through here. An hour ago, far more busy. This is a good time, like mid-morning, to come through. You often hardly get held up, but there's always a chance of meeting a really big lorry or something, or a bus. Oh, don't like getting them bumps. Need to go right up to this and won't change if there's nobody here. Well, that would be a rarity, wouldn't it? I've never been in that little. I don't really like the littles and things. I don't. But I think the truth of the matter is I don't like a different supermarket where you don't know where stuff is. Because I like to just go in and whiz around in 20 minutes. On the right there's the NY 500, sort of motor themed cafe. I hesitate to call it a biker cafe, but it is to some extent popular with bikes. They've got like a exhibition of sorts inside of unusual vehicles, so it is quite interesting. I've never actually been in, but I've seen it on YouTube and things, and they serve just very roadside cafe type food like burgers and things. Now fancy, but it's middle range price. Is not dirt cheap, but it's not hideously expensive. It's probably worth a look in one day. It's just it's not that far from home. You feel a bit daft going from a cafe about 15 miles from home. I've got a fantastic queue of cars behind me. I don't think it's really my queue. The thing is, we were stopped at the lights in Pickering, weren't we? And I was right at the front of them. And nobody's dared overtake. Don't know why. Well, there isn't much point, to be honest. Usually you overtake and just come up behind another great line of cars, but because of those lights it is relatively clear. It's actually quite nice to just sit at 50 and not have to keep slowing down yourself. River level's quite low. This January was slightly below average at our house, so it was so slightly below. I'm sure some places were above average. But the first week of February has been more or less rain-free, apart from just like sprinkly showers. A big tree had fallen across the road here, on the, I think it was on the left. Evergreen oak. Oh, there's the remains of it there, look. And you can see it fell, the wind was in the north, which is a bit unusual, you see, to have a really strong wind from the north. So it caught it by surprise a bit, and it fell directly into the road. That's somewhat 45 degrees to it. God, I hate coming along here. The funny thing is, I was thinking on the way yesterday, I was thinking, would I like to try coming into Malton the other way where I normally go home, and I sort of ruled it out. But I was thinking that the problems are, like coming along here, seems sort of increasingly congested and difficult to negotiate. Because you get quite big lorries and things coming along here. There's that many parked vehicles of all descriptions. That one, why do they really need to park there, for God's sake? So you're forced onto this side of the road. You can't see ahead properly. Not as bad as that woman on the moor. And another niggle, for want of a better word, where you used to just go straight across to the road into the market. Now you have to go on past it quite a way, and round the roundabout, and it's a what I don't like, you go up there and it's got this quite severe camber on it. I don't know what that's for. but it always feels like something's not quite right. It feels a bit like you've got a flat tyre or something. But once you're aware why it's doing it, it's not so bad. Like here, you've got like an adverse camber here, where it leans you towards the, then it goes the other way. It just feels weird. People are here buying cattle. It's doing its regen. Oop. I think he's unloading some like building materials or something. It's not much better this way. I'll tell you why it'll be, because other people know about the chaos on that roundabout in Pickering, and they're using this road as well. Is he actually going to pull in there and stop? Oh, unexpected.